Susie. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Mary Amy. Thank you for having me.
Sure. And you're coming from New Jersey and I'm in New York.
Yep, practically neighbors.
We're neighbors, exactly. So let's get right into it. So what exactly has prompted you into the world of psychics and mediums? For example, your story. Share your story with us.
Yeah, I have a legal background, so I was a lawyer for most of my life and not spiritual or open to spirituality at all, but I had a daughter who started to speak to dead people, it seems, from age 2, which was like quite alarming to me and everyone else. And once we moved to New Jersey, she was like the oddball kid, and that's very often what happens with the kids who are super sensitive. So I tried to find her a place for children. I found such a place in New Jersey where they worked with little kids, were very open spiritually or sensitive. They taught them how to meditate, working with healing, learning to control their energy field. And it was very uplifting and very empowering for her. And while I was waiting for her one day, I just managed to see a little advert there, advertising a mediumship class with someone from Australia who turned to be my mentor, my first teacher. And I took that class on a whim. And over a weekend, my entire life was turned upside down. And here we are now. So it led me down a spiritual journey, opening up a psychic school for the development of healers and mediums. But also I've been able to integrate all of these principles, empowerment, healing, everything into my own life. And my life has totally changed for the better. So I've gone on my own spiritual healing. And I work with people and I help other people to develop. So that's where we are now. So it was quite unintended, but very welcome looking at it in retrospect.
You seem so open about this. Were you always so open in this psychic world?
No, not at all. I never did anything, I didn't know about chakras or meditation. I'd never done any form of meditation up until my very first mediumship class. So I would say, just taking that class, learning there's something more to life over here and just going on my own spiritual journey opened me up considerably. Now, my father was a medium, but I was in a very strict Catholic household when I grew up. So it's something we heard of, but no one spoke about, right? So the only experience with mediumship or anything in that line was with my father when I was very young. I do remember seeing a physical manifestation of a spirit with a friend. And it was a little bit frightening. And I remember speaking to my dad. And I said, we saw this tall guy and he disappeared. My dad, the Scotsman that he was, just waved it off and said, oh, it's just a dead person, don't worry about it. So I was actually quite fearful of spirit communication, anything to do with ghosts or anything scared the living daylights out of me. So I never actually did anything with it. I wasn't drawn to doing readings. In fact, until I did my first mediumship class, it never even occurred to me. I never even had the thought, what would it be like to do that? Or how do they get started in a business? It simply wasn't on my radar at all.
How old were you when this happened? Was that your first encounter with a spirit?
Yeah, that must have been around, I would say 7 or 8, around then. But looking back now, 2020 hindsight, right? Now I can see, the experiences that I had as a child and into my teen years, or the nightmares, the anxiety, all that kind of stuff, feeling overwhelmed with energy. Now I can see, that I was one of those people who might have been a natural medium or was super sensitive to energy. So I can see that now, which in a way has helped me with my children as well, because both my children are actually mediums as well. So it's helped me to work with other people, in particular, to work with children as well. But you never know when you're going through it, because it's not something that I ever thought to speak to anyone about when I was a teenager, because you're going through puberty, so everyone's depressed, right? So you keep it to yourself. I did hear a few voices outside my ear, but then I thought, oh my God, maybe I'm schizophrenic. And that's certainly not something I wanted to tell anyone about. But looking at it now, you know, I could have actually have had such an easier time of it, just speaking to someone about it. My dad, for example, that would have been a good start. And just learning to control my energy field, pull my aura in, and then I wouldn't have been bothered as much as I was.
Would you please share some experiences, encounters that you've had as a medium?
Well, I think, you know, what I really do love is my private practice as a medium, where I sit down with people and connect them to their loved ones on the other side. I feel it's, you know, I think, why do I do this work? I think the most important reason, it's an honor to be in service to the spirit world. So, you know, allowing spirit to touch in on their family members is the most wonderful thing in the world to do. And I'm very grateful to be able to do that, because mediumship helps people in many ways. It's healing. It helps people to deal with their grief. It also lifts the veil of fear around dying as well, to know that there is a life after death. And then the interesting ones, I guess, would be the opposite end of the spectrum, when you do house clearing, and there you've got unwanted spirit coming in. So, you know, those would be the more remarkable things. But generally, mediumship, it's very, very healing.
You mean house clearings, if someone has maybe a haunted house, or they have an empty?
Yes, if they've got activity going on. It's become quite a big field nowadays, you know, when people buy a new house. Very often, if you move into an old house and you start doing a lot of renovations, it can sometimes stir things up if there are still prior occupants in. So a lot of people like to get their houses cleared. But sometimes people just start to experience activity in their house that can be a little bit alarming. So I do enjoy doing that to help people. And so often the little sensitive children, you know, the little kids who are having the nightmares, feeling something creepy in their room, being able to work with them and help to clear the energy. Children are very, very resilient, but I think I've seen that people are very, very open nowadays. The children are so open. So there's a lot of little, very talented, very sensitive kids running around nowadays. People give them names like the indigo kids and all of that, but I just feel they've got such a great imagination. They're almost always in alpha level, that state of consciousness in their imaginations, which is exactly where you need to be when you do any form of intuitive work. So I think, you know, they can sense things a little bit easier than adults who are always in their analytical mind, questioning everything. So I do enjoy that, you know, where you can help these kids and just reset the energy of someone's home or business, you know, so that everyone feels good inside.
Have you tuned into any other beings other than, let's say you said spirits and maybe some entities? Is there anything else that you've channeled into or that's come to you?
Yes, I do enjoy working with the angelic realm, actually. It's such a high vibration. I do a part of mediumship called trance mediumship. So you can get channeling, and that's more inspired speaking with other realms. So when you speak about channeling, yes, it can be spirit guides, it can be the angels, it can be the ascended masters, can be nature spirits. And a lot of people also connect to those in other dimensions as well, right? Extraterrestrials. With the trance mediumship, we go a little bit deeper. So we go into theta level, which is a deeper state of trance. And I have to say, those guides who come through, some of them are exceedingly old, have got so much wisdom. So I feel being able to tap into the wisdom, the philosophy, and the teachings of all these higher beings is the most wonderful thing in the world to experience. I'm always in awe of the information that comes through.
You seem so skilled at everything that you're doing in the psychic world and through your school. Is there any tips that you can give our viewers about,
Yeah.
I guess, something related to this?
Yeah, people always ask me, because I would say I split my practice between the intuitive development part, the mediumship, as well as the healing aspects. I'm a Reiki master. I do quantum healing, hypnosis, all those good things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think everything starts with meditation. If everyone needs to learn to meditate, and people always say, well, I need a class on how to meditate, but you don't really. Meditation is something that you get good at with practice. That's why they call it meditation practice. So for everybody to just start learning how to sit in the quiet, close your eyes and be present for short bursts of time, not go and sit there for an hour, but to learn to meditate is actually very good for your energy, for your peace of mind, stress relief. But the meditation is also the door that opens you up to all forms of intuitive development in whatever direction you want to go, to self-healing, to connecting to the angelic realm, to doing psychic readings and connecting to the spirit world. So that's always the starting point. And once you can do that, it is in that place that you put yourself into with a meditation that the intuitive information is available to you. And then the self-healing journey is the most important thing for all of us to go on, particularly those on the mediumship path, because all your stuff comes up. So really to clear out your past, I think we all cling on to our life story. We all have trauma, right? We've all accepted, we all have a story, and it's all trauma. When we talk about trauma, I talk about negative thoughts and negative emotions that we've picked up during the course of our lifetime that set us up for failure. Why do people not trust their intuition, right? It's because they move into the analytical mind, or they don't trust it because of something that they're holding on to from their past. So I feel going on a healing journey for everyone, just clearing out that past, everything that's stopping you from moving forward, stopping you from stepping into your own power, stopping you from having wonderful relationships, stopping you from abundance in life. That's the most important part, the healing in this lifetime, to clear all of that out. The past is done. We can't change it. All we have is today, right? To be present and live our lives one day at a time. The healing part is that anything that has affected you in the past that's been hurtful, where we can clear that so that it no longer affects us in the present moment. So that's what it is. It's all a path to empowerment and healing and living your life and success and joy and happiness in all areas of your life.
It's such a beautiful thing that you have created this school for 17 years for the development of psychics and mediums and healers. I would love if you could share some of what's going on in your school and any training.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So we do have a center in Clifton, New Jersey. It's close to the Lincoln Tunnel. There we offer in-person classes, ongoing things, circles that are regular, some standalone classes, anything from house clearing to Reiki attunements, Reiki level 1 and 2 training, psychic development, tarot readings, healing circles. But I think that the flagship of the group is probably the mediumship development. So the programs that I've been running for the last 3 years are all online, actually. We have an 8-week beginner mediumship course starting in March, the 27th, I believe, and then we have an intermediate advanced class starting for 12 weeks. What I love about these programs is it allows me to work with people like I've always wanted to. What I thought of when I came up with the program is, what kind of a class would I like? And I had a few prerequisites: doing practice, but also having a teacher who can view your practice sessions and give you feedback. Someone that I can reach out to at any day during the course. Hey, I'm having a problem with this. One-on-one meetings. So I've created this course, 8 weeks for beginners. So awesome, because they've got these every week they've got an online platform and they can see new meditations, new videos, plus we sit in circle for 2 hours once a week online. Then they get to do their practice readings on the public. So you're like practicing on everyday people. Have a teacher watch your readings and then give you feedback, plus one-on-one private sittings with me as well. So it's been the most wonderful way to watch mediums develop. And the 12-week one goes a little bit further, covering healing, platform mediumship, as well as trance mediumship. But I can tell you what, you might see a lot of mediums on television, the famous ones. Let me tell you something, the best mediums are in your neighborhood. They're all over the place. I've been completely blown away by the dedication of the people coming out of this training and the standard of mediumship. It's been absolutely awe-inspiring. I'm so privileged to be able to do this.
So you have the school, and then you also offer services yourself. Can you share with us some of your services? Is it one-on-one? Is it a group?
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. So my office is my school, really.
Oh, okay.
So I have a large space with several rooms and several offices. So it's set up as a school, but I'm also able to run my private practice there. So I do offer mediumship readings. I've got a variety of healing modalities under my belt. So the one I focus on is Reiki, actually, Usui Reiki. I'm a clinical hypnotist. I do work with past trauma. I also do past life regressions, as well as quantum healing hypnosis. And I also work with healing within the akashic records. So that's the broad spectrum of what I do. So I do stuff online, but a lot of people come in personally to my office. So everything that I teach, I can also do. So because I basically work full-time in this business, so all my teachings, I don't teach anything that I haven't experienced or don't have experience in, because then it would be theoretical. So I think it is important to be able to have the experience of stuff to be able to teach. So that's just my own private little section over there that I do. So I've got some wonderful healers who teach as well at the center. But that's my home away from home, really.
That's wonderful. For those viewers out there who are kind of just coming into this awareness, can you just, in a nutshell, or however you want to describe it, can you tell them exactly what the Akashic Records is? And I think pick something else that you're actually, one of your services, so they kind of know exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah, the Akashic Records is really interesting. So it all depends on if you believe in past lives, right? So reincarnation, it's a belief system. Not everyone believes in it. I do. So when we think of the journey of the soul, we might have had many, many past lives. They say you could have had thousands of past lives, right? I don't know, got no proof. But the thing is, life is all about learning lessons over here. I feel we are all a particle of God. That was our conception. We're merely a fragment of God, a particle that's having this journey. And what we're doing is we're trying to get back to that God source, to divine light, with full enlightenment, full awareness of the spiritual, how to lead our lives. So with all these lives, we have experiences and we've got to learn lessons. So that's what living is about. All our difficulties and everything we experience, it's to teach us something. So it's almost like an etheric supercomputer, which is the Akashic Records. It's a database of energy for the universe that contains the information of all thoughts, words, and deeds everywhere. You can even look to the Akashic Records of a building. So the thing is, everything your soul has experienced, that information is available within the Akashic Records. So it's a great source to go to if you want some insight into potential soul contracts that you might have had in a past life. This would probably crop up when you've done a lot of healing in this life. I think this lifetime we're leading here is the most important one, right? You want to clear all your stuff out here, do the healing so that you can empower yourself and lead a successful life over here. But when someone's done the healing that they can do, but there's still something that's nagging, still something that they're just not getting ironed out, that's when we can start to look to the akashic records to see, well, is there a past life link over there? Is there, why did this thing crop up? Is there maybe a link to a physical disease from a past life? Is there a soul contract that's setting them up for failure? Why aren't they successful in this lifetime? And then with that as well, one can look into ancestral issues as well. Sometimes we are born into this particular bloodline for the first time, and there might be energy connected to a particular bloodline that you're now suddenly dealing with. So it's a very interesting field. It can be very enlightening and very effective when it comes to healing.
Wow.
But we can all contact the akashic records through meditation, right? So there's a lot of healing meditations where you can do your own past life journey or an akashic records reading through meditation. YouTube's got great ones.
Is there anything you would like to share with the viewers about, like, a message or anything you want?
Yes.
Tell us.
Yes, I think, you know what my spiritual journey has taught me? Life can be really hard, right? And when you are struggling, it sometimes feels as if there's no end in sight. It feels like it doesn't matter what you do, everything's going wrong. I think the number one piece of advice I can give to people is to get a very good book on the law of attraction. Learning to work with the principles of the law of attraction that magnetizes your energy field. And it teaches you how to live in the moment and to start focusing on the positive thoughts and emotions that you experience on a day-by-day basis, because that clears your energy field and magnetizes your energy field. And to go on a self-healing journey, you know, if you feel stuck, if you want to just feel better, if you want to learn to work on your aura, clear your chakras, do a bit of self-healing, maybe tap into your intuition, that will allow you to become the very best version of yourself. Whatever that might be for you, to become the best version of it. You know, we're not all going to be the same, right? But to be that best version of yourself. Because for the most part, when we think of our past, we've all accepted a false belief system about ourselves in many ways. What people have told us about ourselves. Very often this starts very young with our parental programming, right? You're not good enough. You're not smart enough to do this. And we accept that as our belief system. And where the problems occur, we start to experience these cycles in repetitive patterns where everything just reaffirms those faulty belief systems. So I feel we are all born with potential, and it is our divine right to become the best version of ourselves without limitations. And I think what I've learned is it's worthwhile going on that journey. People think, well, they don't want to really start because it's going to involve too much work. Like, go on that journey and experience what it's like to have peace of mind, to have joy, to have success. And by going on a spiritual journey, it also helps you to also be in tune with your intuition as well, because we're all psychic. We're all naturally psychic, right? We all have impressions about people, about situations, but where we go wrong is we ignore them. That's why we don't trust our intuition. So this healing journey that we can go on, starting to manifest beautiful lives for ourselves in turn, helps us to then start to trust our intuition. And when you trust your intuition, life flows. It just flows. You're no longer a day late, dollar short anymore. Life feels peaceful. Because life is always cyclical, right? There's ups and downs all the time. So the key is when you're in that place of power, when there's a downturn in life, like COVID, for example, businesses were shut down. A lot of us were able to just navigate our way gently through that period, right, of chaos, instead of going crashing, right? So that's what the spiritual journey and spiritual healing does for us.
Perfect. That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that with all of us. How can our viewers reach you?
My school website is MontClairPsychicSchool.com. And everything that's at the school, you can also get on my website, and it's VanZylSpiritual.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok at VanZyl Spiritual.
Thank you. I will put that in the description so everyone
Thank you so much.
can find you and reach you. And I'm very grateful for you joining us tonight. Thank you so much. And
thank you so much, Mary Amy. I appreciate it.
And I think that this is going to be very helpful for everyone out there.
Awesome. I hope so. Just get started.